Hi guys, hi from Vienna. This is Günther again from Pax Europiana, talking about the 24th of March, a very important day. It's the day of liberation of the Balkans, and it's the day in 1999 when the Kosovo Liberation War and the Balkan Liberation War started. And this is coming up very soon, and I would like to make this video to talk about it, and also to maybe call for a new understanding of that liberation war, as it was very good war, a very just war. It was the war of liberation also for Serbia. And unfortunately, many in Serbia don't see it like that. And to this day, unfortunately, President Vučić and Mr. Dodik of the Republika Srpska, and they are basically claiming that this was an attack, and it was a kind of unjust aggression against Serbia and Bosnia. And in 2019 they have organized, even on the 20 years anniversary, because this year it will be the 22nd year anniversary and celebration of the liberation of the Balkan by NATO from the Milosevic genocidal regime, and they had a big event in Niš, and that's quite outrageous, and I'm actually very critical on that one, and it's hard for me to understand. So what I want to say with that is basically that we should understand the Balkan Liberation War as the war of liberation and celebrate it like this in all Europe, because it was an enormous effort. It was not lightly done, and there was ample of warnings and so many interventions against it in order to give Milosevic time to stop his activities in Kosovo and his genocide which he committed. But no, he is responsible for what happened. He is responsible also for the genocide in Bosnia and Kosovo, and in Croatia the war obviously, but also for all the consequent deaths of the NATO bombing. It's him to blame, and I cannot understand why anybody else sees it differently. I mean, he knew exactly what NATO is. He knew exactly what kind of things will come upon his people and him and his military machine. He thought he is stronger. He thought we are weaker, and he was basically gambling the life of his own people in this kind of Vabank Russian roulette game. He went down with it, and this is what often dictators do. And he was definitely, and he is definitely to blame for that. So how any European statesman of any kind of wants to take it seriously in 2019 can blame NATO for war crimes and then wants to join the European Union is for me an utter mystery. Even the Vienna Doves are agreeing or disagreeing, who knows. But nevertheless, this is really an important aspect to be seen. And when we discuss about war and peace in Europe, this is the most important question. Because today Serbia wants to join the European Union, a union which almost exclusively consists of NATO member states. They want to have our subsidies. The European Investment Bank is subsidizing them, and the European taxpayers are sending over 10 billion euros in the last 10 years to Serbia, and there is massive inflow of European investment into Serbia. So we are really not in any way anti-Serbian, yeah? We are just anti-dictators, anti-genocidal dictators, and we cannot, and anti-aggression. And when somebody sees the world in a different way, it's for me really better to freeze the candidate status of Serbia until they reconsider. I've called many times already for Serbia ready to join NATO and ready to be in the European Union, to seal the peace with Kosovo by the Euro, and so on and so on. I think many of you who listen know that already, and that's exactly what should happen. But as long as the narrative is against NATO, I think it won't happen. And so it's important to destroy this kind of Vučić, Dodik, Milosevic narrative. And how can that be? I obviously, alone with my videos, my podcasts and my tweets, cannot do that. I'm self-aware here from Vienna. Hello to Serbia, change your narrative. It won't work. But it is important that we include everybody else in NATO, everybody else in the Euro, everybody else but Serbia in the European Union. And I think this will have some effect. And it's important to communicate directly to the Serbian public in Serbian via the American president, and to issue an invitation that they understand. That's very clear. And here is the offer. And who is rejecting it is the people who are misleading you. It's Mr. Vucic, Mr. Dodik. They are misleading you into believing such kind of nonsensical, genocidal aggression narrative. And this is, I think, what we have to do. We have to bypass the political leaders and discuss directly with the Serbian people, but openly, clearly, in Serbian, and directly, and make it via the spokesperson and via our political elite directly. This is the way to do it, and I don't see any other way. And we have to make that very clear. And now in this March, it's the commemoration season for the brake cars attack, which started, it was on the 5th of March, I made a video already, and it's then now coming to the March start of the war, and then the whole April and the whole of May until June, the Liberation Day. The 10th of June is the Victory Day in the Balkans by NATO against Milosevic, and the whole spring season will be now about commemoration days. And it's important that we lead this debate. Now that Biden is the president, it's important to be very clear and to be very, very, how can I say, clear, direct, and not to do this diplomatic kind of nonsensical, I understand, yes, the Heiko Maas way of saying it. Oh, Serbia, you're invited to the EU, and don't worry about NATO. We know we are members, but we don't invite you to join because we are not so convinced of NATO. Or what? If NATO is something bad, why are we a member? In the case of Germany, if NATO is something bad, why don't you you don't invite Serbia to it? Is it something to hide? Do we have to take consideration because we did something wrong? Okay, if we did something wrong, then we have to apologize. What exactly we did wrong? Saving the life of the Kosovo Albanians was wrong? Taking a country, liberating it from a genocidal regime was wrong? Really? Is this what Heiko Maas believes? Interesting. I don't believe it. I think it was absolutely the right thing to do. It would have been better, of course, if Milosevic had not done this aggression, if he had gone voluntarily out of Kosovo. It would have been best if we recognized Kosovo already in September, 22nd of September 1991, when the Kosovo state declared their independence, but we were too weak and disinformed, believing narratives of eternal Serbian Kosovo, which objectively it was never the case, by the way. And so this is really important to get this right now. And it's exactly now the season, in 2021, in spring. The sun is shining, Biden is president, he knows the facts very well. We have absolutely the time now to invite North Macedonia, Montenegro and Albania into the EU and freeze the candidate status of Serbia. That they will notice, I'm sure about it. And then they will vote, the Montenegrins and the Albanians will, and the North Macedonians will send member to the European Parliament in 2024. That in Belgrade they will notice, I'm sure. And then we will invite Bosnia to NATO. That they will absolutely notice in the beautiful Belgrade capital, and we will invite Kosovo first to Partnership for Peace and then to EU candidate status, and then in 2024 also to NATO, and I'm sure they will notice. And no Cypriot and no Spain and no Romania, Greece will stop us with that, if we are serious. If we are not serious, that's another issue, obviously. But I think we have to be serious. Now in this crisis, to recover, it's important to strengthen the unity of the West. We have now already this progress with the big steps in trade, with calming this nefarious trade conflicts, which this Russian asset Trump has unfortunately done against the EU. And this is now, I think, over, and we will settle all this. And now it's time also for peace in the Balkans. And it's absolutely time, exactly in the way I have outlined in the concrete steps. And this is the format to do it, and always while inviting Serbia clearly and openly to NATO to seal the peace treaty of recognition of Kosovo with the euro, to open the labor market. I am talking here from Vienna. You know, this is anyhow already very much everybody is here from Kosovo, from Serbia, from Bosnia, and they're very welcome. It's an open city for anybody from the Balkans, and we have to officially open the labor market of the EU for all the Western Balkan states. And then it is also, I think, a package which nobody in Serbia, Bosnia, Kosovo, anyhow in Kosovo everybody is pro-European and pro-American, and but nobody among the Bosnian Serbs or the Serbian population will reject such a very clear and good offer. And this is what we should do, and that's my plan. I will make many videos and many podcasts about this one. Also please follow my podcast, the Pax Europiana, and also my videos, and looking forward for peace in the Balkans, for European Balkans. Best regards from Vienna, for peace and for NATO-backed peace and NATO-secured peace, please. That's absolutely the way forward, or there will be no EU membership without it. Thanks a lot.